Hello, you beautiful people. Computer science for everyone. And today we're going to talk about procedures and functions. Let me give you an example. When you communicate with people, let's someone come and tell you, hey, go and brush your teeth. Okay. Or you may give it to your child, or maybe your parent asks you to do such a kind of things. But try to understand. We never talk like this. If I'm going to ask you to brush your teeth, I'm not just going to go through all the steps. We know to brush your teeth, you have to do a bunch of things. But we don't talk like that. Hey, go to bathroom, take your toothbrush, and then get a little bit of toothpaste, and then brush up, then down, then up, and then down, and then wash your teeth, and then come and then back. You're not going to talk like that. Imagine if you want to tell a person, hey, do not forget to brush your teeth. This is really good for you to brush your teeth. And every time you want to say brush your teeth, you want to go through all those kind of, it looks funny. We're never going to be able to even communicate like that. We choose a name that refers to that bunch of steps, step 1, step 2, step 3, and so on, for brushing your teeth. And then we feel much better because we can keep talk about it. And then we can just use the name, brush your teeth. And everybody knows what are those steps. We have such a kind of similar concepts in the computer programming that led us to reduce the size of code and also repetitive tasks, especially. We can make the life really easy. And this is called procedure and functions. There are two kind of it. Today video, I'm going to focus on procedure. I have a simple example to talk about it. So let's jump to code editor. Here okay, so this is my Python editor. Imagine that we're building a game, and in different places in the game, we want to show the score of the player, and we want to show the highest score, and maybe we want to show what are the remaining lives, just in a game sense, just have the sense of the game. These are the things we're going to do that. So I'm going to go and I just create some simple variable. Okay, let's say your score is 1200, and then the highest score, let's say, is 3200. Just imagine, okay? Or just make it, let's say, the highest is 1. So highest score. And then lives. Let's see, your lives remaining is, let's say you have 3 lives. So that's just what we're going to do here. So I'm not creating a game here, definitely. Just let's say we have these 3 variables and we want to do something like that. Let's say the beginning of the game, I'm going to go and I'm just going to print first. Your score is, for example, the score, just make it like a string variable. And then here I'm going to write that the highest score is lives, maybe remaining is, so then here I'm going to go for high score and I'm going to write the lives. So that's what I like to do. So when I run this, you can see the results coming here. And then also, let's say, maybe I'm going to write down here start, game start. I'm looking like a game start. Okay. Not only the game start, I want to just do the same thing again, like for when game ends. So, something like that. Or also when you lose a point or lose a life, for example, let's say. Or let's say when you uh, gain, like kind of get a score. So you see what is happening. Let's say these are different parts in the games, okay? So every time I have to write all these lines of code. That means every time I want to update the user status, the player status, I have to keep writing these 3 lines of code and keep writing these 3 lines of code. And imagine if this is going to be happen in many part of my game, then my program will be really big. It's really big. And second of all, if I want to make a change, for example, I don't want to say you see, I made a mistake here. You is score. It's a good example. I have to go in every verb, make it your score, and your score. This or doesn't make sense at all. Or for example, let's say I want to say lives remaining. I don't want to make it like it is. I want to make it like colons. So if let's say I want to make something like this. You see, I have to go to all the places and I can't remember. So it's not good at all, especially when we work together, like 5 programmers work on a kind of one code base. That's not going to work. So we need a way to like brush your teeth, to wrap this 2 lines of code and put it in somewhere and then wrap it up and choose a name and always refer to these three lines of code with that name. This is called modularity. That means we make a module, and this module can be procedure, it can be function. Procedure just does the job. Functions calculate something mostly and returns back a value. We talk about functions in another video, but let's go through now, see how we're going to resolve this one. I will create a function to a procedure. To create a procedure, you need to choose a name. For example, I want to choose the name like brush your teeth. I want to choose update status. I want to update you from the user status. We use the keyword def or define, and I call it update status. Okay, so that's what I like to do. And then I'll just write open close parentheses. What is this open close parentheses? Is like you've seen that when you call print function or procedure, there's a parenthesis that you pass parameters. You will see later that you can create your own procedure that they accept some parameters, and based on those parameters, they can do some different stuff. In this case, for now, we don't have any parameters, so just leave empty here. But here you can put some parameters. I talk about them later. Then colon. Then press enter, see what's happening. In the line 6, I do have this indentation. In Python, works like that. That means whatever belongs to update status, we follow with an indentation, like English or like any text language, actually. A little bit indentation means that this contents belong to this chapter. And then what I do, I will just copy these 3 lines of code. I paste it here. Oops. Okay, so look at this indentation. It's very important. It means that these 3 lines of code, they belong to update status. And I let's say I remove all these 3, all of them. I remove all of them. So there's nothing there. And now if I back to clear this. So let me run the code. So nothing is happening at the moment. Although you have these lines of code, you see they're not getting, they're not the Python does not execute those 3 lines of code because now they are a part of update status procedure. So update status is like brush your teeth. If I don't call update status in any of my code, you won't see any of these 3 lines resolved out there. It is really important that you understand what I did here. I route def, define, I choose a name, then open and close parentheses, and then I route the content, the code belong to update status. We call it function or procedure body. And indentation in Python is very important because you see that all these 3 lines, they have same indentation. And even my editor has some kind of button here that you can click and then collapse and expand it. You can get some better feeling of it. So now let's go. I want to go to the game start. So the only thing I have to do is to just write the name of the procedure, like print function, like str function, and then write open close parentheses. That's all. Very simple. And then I just go and copy, and let's say somewhere else in my code, and it doesn't matter. I can just go as much as I want, and I can write thousands of updated status. And when I run this, you see I got it again. It means that every time you run up to the status, it's like a brush your teeth. You know that these are steps that you have to do for brushing your teeth. And that's really great. And you know what? If I decide to make some changes, I will just come here and I will make this, for example, the colon, and then this one also a colon. And then that will be applied to all the results. So let me run it again. See, now all of them are like colon. It's so fast, better, easy to maintain, and your code is smaller. The code is much, much smaller and is meaningful because you choose a name makes sense to you. And when you work with other programmers, they're going to love it as well. So this is about modularity, and this kind of modularity called procedure. So it just does few things, repetitive tasks. You put them somewhere, you choose a name, you wrap them, and whenever you want to use it, you just call updated status. So I want you to do something like that, and even maybe you can come up with some sort of different steps and activities that you can do that. And think about it, that what are the things like brush teeth we do in your job and profession? We have these concepts everywhere. And the main important thing is reusability. Remember this term, reusability, because I create one time and I can reuse it many, many times, and it's very safe and fast. And also, remember, maintenance is easy. That means if I want to update a code, if I want to change a little bit in my code, maybe after 1 year, they ask me, hey, change the message. I don't need to go through all the code base that sometimes, believe me, is more than 100,000 of lines of code. Then I change a lot of things. So it's the best way to do that. And it's a very smart way of thinking. This was about procedure and today video. We're going to talk about function in the next video. So go and have fun with your procedure. Happy codings.